Hi, I'm Barb Mays from the College of Nursing. This session will discuss the uses of Skyscape. This is another set of applications that you should have loaded on your mobile device. This has limited applications in the clinical environment. However, these are free applications that we should take advantage of. I will show you the ones that are most commonly used by the college. There is an application that you have purchased in your with your course packet or your textbooks. The process changes from year to year, so how you get the information may change, so I won't describe how you get it. You should have the Nursing Diagnosis Handbook loaded on your mobile device at this time. I won't discuss the use of Nursing Diagnosis Handbook in this lecture. That will be discussed in your classroom setting when it's more applicable to the content that is being described. I will show you some of the other applications that you can go over in your free time and become more familiar with it. You can also add and delete the applications just as you did in Unbound in UCentral. So let's get started with just the basic look of Skyscape. It contains a calculator, the Nursing Diagnosis Handbook, Skyscape Clinical Consult, Skyscape RX, MedBeats. There may be a couple more that come preloaded, and when you do get those on your screen, they have these kind of icons, and I'll go ahead and take you to the live version, and that way you can see what actually loads on your screen when you open it up. There are actually two different views. If you go to the top right hand corner, you can change the display from the icons displayed in this fashion, or you can change to a linear fashion. These are actually the ones that come preloaded when you download Skyscape here at the college. So let's go ahead and go through a couple of them just so you can see the basic navigation and how it's related and some of the differences between Skyscape and UCentral. By far UCentral, because it is a more robust application, we recommend that you use it for the majority of your work. However, there aren't any applications within the Unbound Central Suite that contains the calculator, which is a little more beneficial when you actually need to do calculations for medical purposes. So let's go ahead and go straight to the calculator. You'll see that again that it's organized very similar to UCentral. The information is located on the left-hand side of the screen, which is your list of topics, or in this case, the list of different calculations, and has a search function. And we're going to, just for demonstration purposes, let's go ahead and do body. Let's see if it types up here. Body mass index for adults, which is something that you might be familiar with. We'll pick that, and you'll see that this actually has screens that you need to populate with information. I have a little difficulty with getting my fingers lined up in the exact space, so you'll have to be careful and make sure that you enter all the data that's required. For weight, you'll need to make sure that you're in the field, and you'll put in a number 135, and again make sure that your label is correct. We're going to put it in pounds, and then we'll add the height, which will be in inches, so you need to make sure that you convert it not to feet and inches, but go ahead and convert it. So 5 feet 2 inches would be 62 inches, and change your tag to inches. And then it automatically calculates. You don't have to do anything other than enter the data. And you'll see in the green letters, that's your result, and it comes back as a normal weight. In the center of your screen now, you'll see that the formula is displayed. So it actually has how that calculation was obtained, and it also gives you the interpretation, what the normal weight would be for this particular set of data, and it gives you the ranges for underweight all the way to obesity class 3. It gives you your references, just like in UCentral. If it's a blue display of it's a link, so this would take you to a government website, and this other one is the World Health Organization, which will give you the BMI classification. This navigating within this application, you can use your back button, which would take you back to the calculator screen. Let's go back there. And then you also, in the bottom left-hand corner, is a little arrow. When you click on that, it will give you your icons. If you're familiar with those, you can click on your history. So it will show you where you were most recently. You can also add bookmarks, just as you did like your favorites. So let's add a bookmark. Let's say that we liked the body mass index. Sorry. Body mass index, that will add as a bookmark now. And your little icons here. These are smart links. This will take you to the applications that you have already downloaded, so we don't have to go back in those, go back in the screen, so we can just connect right here. And again, this tells you about the calculator, just gives you an idea of the version. And this gives you your application settings so that you can make any adjustments if you need to. Okay, so if we go to the index, you can also change the view. You can do main index by specialty or just conversions. And conversions for weights, these are not the kind of weights that you would think of. These are for the apothecary measures, so this would be more for like medication conversions. The temperature one you might find beneficial when you're in pediatrics if you need to convert from Fahrenheit to centigrade. And again, your formula shows there on the screen. So if you need to do your let's say you're looking to do a weight conversion. Weight conversion, all units is the best way to do that one. And this one you would put in your input would be your, let's do 145 from, and then you can switch from pounds to kilograms. And it gives you your answer right away. Now, this unfortunately does not give you, because it has so many choices that you can convert to, it doesn't give you your exact application or your formula for conversion. But you can see that there are multiple conversions here. So if you need to, most of the ones that you would use would be for weights, for temperature, and then you can also use some for body mass index, for body surface, a lot for nutritional information. There are multiple ones that they use for laboratory values and respiratory for ventilator calculations, and those are all in here as well. So let's go here to home. CDC, control and prevention, that's more of a research-based application. I didn't find it of much benefit, but it came with the download. MedWatch, it gives you a list of all medications and changes that have happened within most recent changes with the uses. You can go in and pull up any disease, and it will give you just what's new, how safety alerts, those kinds of things for that particular disease or the kinds of medications as well. Nursing Diagnosis Handbook, as I mentioned, that will be covered in your class when it's more applicable to what your coursework is going over at the time. Skyscape Clinical Consult. This is very, very different than what you were using for 5-minute clinical consult in your UCentral. So if we would use the same example for measles, let's say. And that's not even in as a choice. So you can see that it's very limited. So we'll pick meningitis, which is an inflammation of the spinal cord. We can pull up the topic list, and it is reviewed by specific practices, and it does talk about what the definition is, a description. Very, very different display than how you saw the information in your 5-minute clinical consult. It can be used as an adjunct to UCentral, but it's not as robust, and again, it's not as easily navigated. It's a lot of scrolling, and the information just isn't as easy to find. So again, you can use this as a backup or additional information. It does have the links that you can get to, which would give you additional information, but again, the arrow button here just doesn't work the same way that you would get with UCentral. So if you go back, you can have an index, and it has, again, within this clinical consult, you would have the calculator index within this one, and these calculators are a little different and grouped differently than the others. It's not as extensive of a list. It has a medication index, again, arranged in alphabetical order. It does have figures, again, depending on what you're looking for. It will be either a graphic or I didn't see any really good photographs, so very different than UCentral. It does give you flowcharts, decision trees, and keep clicking and you'll be getting into, just keep going. And these are decision trees. So once again, another resource, no cost. It has great information. You'll have to figure out how it's best to use it for your courses and what your needs specifically are. So let's go home. And the Skyscape RX is another drug database. I personally think that having a couple of drug databases are a good thing because of the way the schedules are updated. It's always good to have another a couple sets, that way you can search. So let's look for Abilify, which is what we did for UCentral. and we can see that the sections are very similar in titles, but the display is different. It shows up on the right hand of your screen as opposed to the left. You can go in to look at warnings and precautions, and your arrow button will give you, you can go into your sections, scroll that way, or you can scroll. And you can see the interactions are listed here, and it'll take you to those specific drugs and give you the precautions listed that way. And take you to that particular drug. Again, it's just what you get used to, what you're comfortable using, how you like to scroll. It's all good information, comes from the same sources, it's just how it's presented. To change your settings, you can go in here and check for updates. It'll tell you the last time it was updated. Add resources. You can go in here and add resources. I have a couple to add again because I get to trial different products. This is where you would go in to put additional resources. So I have these two to add. Right now I'm not using those because we've chosen not to use those for the college. You have a profile. You can add med beats, which is journals and articles, and they'll send you topics that you're interested in. So you can go in and pick different specialties that you're interested in. Say that you're in psych or community, and there's certain topics that you're interested in. You can tag these, and they'll send you, when something new comes out, it'll send it to your med beats, and you can go in and read a current or get an article that's current now. So right now I've read everything. So I'm current on mine, but it'll give you topics that you're interested in. So this is Skyscape in a nutshell. If you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me. Again, I closed out my PowerPoint here. Feel free to ask an IT member in room 260, or you can email CON information technology at osu.edu, or you can email me at mays.45@osu.edu.